hand right there. Impressive, again, to have a Saturday summit that's happening not only on time, but even maybe 30 seconds to a minute early. I am so pleased to see so many familiar faces in the room for this discussion. This is obviously so important. And I think that Genevieve really touched on how we can make an impact at our level too. It's meeting in the middle where we need change to happen at the local level, but we also need technological breakthroughs at this level. And we're going to meet in the middle and we're going to beat this, right? We got this. I am going to read the bios of our speakers today, only because I want you to understand. I'm sure that none of you actually dug into the website to read through the bios of every person speaking today, but I would love for you to understand why these lovely humans are so well qualified to talk on this topic. And the topic, in case you don't know where you are today, energy equity in action, expanding access to energy efficiency in Charlotte. So we've got a lot to cover. So we have Meech, John, and Stephen with us today. Meech, also Michelle, but we go by Meech here, joined North Carolina League of Conservation Voters as the Clean Energy Campaigns Director in August 2023. At NCLCV, Meech manages all regulatory and community energy work. Her priority is ensuring that everyone has access to clean, safe, and affordable energy. She's one of the creators of the energyfundsforall.org, a website that empowers residents across the Carolinas to apply for clean energy funding. Very important. Before joining the league, Meech completed her Master's of Environmental Management at Duke, yay, and worked on mining law and policy at the Southern Environmental Law Center. She also holds a Master's of Science in Law from Northwestern and a dual BS in Biology and Geology from UCLA. John might need to add a little more color to his, but John completed a 3-year grant from Bloomberg Philanthropies to serve as the climate advisor to the city of Charlotte as part of the American Cities Climate Challenge. In this role, John was responsible for developing policies and projects that accelerated the city's efforts to equitably and substantively reduce their carbon footprint. Some of his accomplishments include executing a 35-megawatt off-site solar energy project, developing a workforce training program for careers in clean energy, and updating and implementing the city's sustainable facilities policy that governs how municipal buildings are constructed and operated. John completed his undergraduate degree at Chapel Hill. Got it all covered. And his Master's of Environmental Studies at the College of Charleston. Stephen Foster is a current Products and Services Manager at Duke Energy, supporting both the Smart Saver and Find It Duke programs. The Smart Saver program offers incentives to customers who purchase energy-efficient products. The Find It Duke program is Duke's trade ally referral network, where customers can find a reliable contractor for their next home improvement project. Stephen has worked with Duke Energy for several years and has 6 years experience in managing programs overall. He has been PMP, which is Project Management Professional Certified, since 2019. He's passionate about connecting customers to solution, and clearly, he is passionate about the Carolina Panthers as well.
There's a tie in there.
Yeah. So good. And I'm your moderator. Who am I? I'm the Sustainability Director for Albert's IPS, a company that I doubt any of you has ever heard of. Someone heard, you've heard? No, I don't think so. I mean, I hadn't heard about it when I went to work for them. Our North American headquarters are here in Charlotte. We literally manufacture valves and pipes, but other solutions as well for decarbonization and energy efficiency and water efficiency. And fortunately, our headquarters are in the Netherlands, so we have some really, really robust climate goals. It's very exciting to be on this team right now. I previously worked for another company that you probably have heard of, Crescent Communities, in a role of sustainability with them as well. And I am just passionate about everything happening today. I love these conversations, everything from energy to biodiversity, which is coming up next. I hope you'll listen to that. I think the moderator there is probably pretty cool too. So with that, I would like to turn it over to our panelists. I'm going to get started on their presentations here. They each have a section to really explain how their work relates to what we're talking about today. And then I have a few questions, and then we'll open it up for questions as well. So Each of you is going to have to stand up here to do this because we don't have a way to transfer a files. But
Let Meech be the guinea pig.
yeah. So there's our pictures again. And there's your presentation. You can just arrow down. Great.
Well, hey y'all, good morning. Thank you so much for being here very early. I'm always happy to be here. Like Lisa said, my name is Meech, Clean Energy Campaigns Director at North Carolina League of Conservation Voters Foundation. If you haven't heard of us, we are a statewide environmental organization, but we focus in different areas across the state. But my work actually has the potential to touch all 100 counties through our website, which is called energyfundsforall.org. My panelist after me, John, will be talking about a bunch of the programs that are on that website. So I'm just going to walk through how it works, what our impact has been, and where we're going next. So in case you haven't heard, in 2022, one of the largest policies at the federal level for climate investments was passed, the Inflation Reduction Act. And we found that there are hundreds of programs in this bill, right? Thousands of pages of text, very hard to understand for just regular people who want to make some improvements on their homes, maybe transition to renewable energy, and overall just make their lives a little bit easier. So what we've done on this website is turn it into a 3-click site based on who you are, what you want, and how you can access the programs and funding coming from the IRA. And I know one of the questions I'm about to get today is, this is under attack, right? That I'm just going to say right up front. I know I'm not getting political today, but if you hear about clean energy, you should call your legislators. Tell them that tax credits are great. We like those. But if you haven't seen our website, I highly encourage you to scan our QR code. I've listed some of our partner groups up here. We have worked with social justice, housing nonprofits, businesses, universities to really scale this up and make it happen. So, like I said, this is a 3-click website, and this is going to be the view on the home page. As you scroll down on the home page, you can see these identity cards answering the question of who am I? So whether you're a renter, a homeowner, a nonprofit, we even have a category now for businesses. You can find resources, potential programs that work for you. When you click on one of these tabs, this is the renter tab, for example, you can see things that you might want. So like everyone wants to lower their energy bill, obviously, sorry. But we have categories for going solar, improving your indoor air quality, things like that, matching you to specific programs. Like I said, I'm happy to answer questions on any and all of the programs on our site, but here are some examples. We have some tax credits, which are currently under threat at the federal level, but we also have loans, grants, and rebates. These are just different financing options that you can layer on to get the maximum amount of energy savings for improving your insulation, repairing your roof, even getting solar panels. So if you do know exactly what you want to look for on our website, say example, a heat pump, because those are very in right now, you can just type in exactly what you want to see and it will pop up on our page. Opportunities like tax credits or rebates that are applicable to you. And I want to mention, as we talk about subscribing, that we built this site with information from the BIPOC communities that we work with and through. So NCLCBF, we have 3 organizing offices throughout the state, with hopefully expanding to 4th. We have Winston-Salem, Raleigh, and Fayetteville, and we are hopefully expanding to Charlotte this year. I have already done a lot of work in Mecklenburg on this project, but going to be very excited to have some grassroots folks here. But I just want to say that when you put your email into our site, that is the only information our site collects, and it goes to me because I manage the mail share. I'm the only one that knows the password. So we created a site to be very, very mindful of folks' data. We work with communities that are at threat of redlining, of gentrification, and other threats to historical and legacy BIPOC communities. And so we are very mindful of all the data that we collect, and we dispose of it almost immediately. When I talk about data, one of the things I want to mention is one-on-one assistance for folks. So for any program on our site, including weatherization, rebates, tax credits, anything, we offer direct one-on-one assistance. If you're just overwhelmed with the options, you say, I want to make some home improvements, I want to do this, I just don't know where to start, we can help. We walk through weatherization, like I said, we literally sit down at people's kitchen tables print out the forms, show them exactly what information is going where, when they should expect to hear back, what results they should be getting out of a program. And we have made some really tangible changes at the state level. For instance, there was a homeowner in Yancey County, which was out west affected by Hurricane Helene. We were working with her on a weatherization assistance program, which should improve the insulation on your homes, just really tighten it up to make sure all the air that you're heating and cooling actually stays in your home. This woman was an older woman of color, and she was actually mistreated by her contractor. They installed used insulation, they installed dirty outlet covers, and these are things that we should not be seeing in homes. It's horrible treatment. But because she worked with us on this assistance project, we were able to escalate her concerns to the state, get the contractor removed, and institute equitable training for contractors. So now for these state programs, a lot of contractors will be required to do like cultural and accessibility training. So that was very, very exciting. So it just shows how even in circumstances where folks are so grateful to get these resources, they still deserve better. So I also want to highlight on our page that we've had a lot of success stories like the one I just mentioned, but we've had folks access tax credits, grants, loans, and sign up for rebates. And we've had some great responses to their site. We have actually helped hundreds of residents, and we've demoed the site to, I think, about 2,000 people at this point. And like I said, we offer one-on-one assistance. We print and mail applications to folks, meet them at their kitchen tables, call, email, whatever folks need, we meet them there. We've also established, like I said, really great communication with our state's Department of Environmental Quality, who's running a lot of these programs. So we have been able to inform program design for programs that are still launching, like Energy Saver NC, Home Energy Rebates, and Solar for All. Also, we are building a defense campaign for the tax credits that I mentioned. So if you're not familiar with what's going on with the federal government right now, the House and Senate are in reconciliation. I mean, they're building a budget. And unfortunately, in that budget, tax credits are removed for energy efficiency improvements and solar. So we are working to defend against that, and you should, again, call your legislator. But if you're interested in any of the programs my fellow panelist John is going to talk about, we cover those. So feel free to contact us or reach out to me. Like I said, we primarily serve BIPOC and low income communities, but our site is called Energy Funds for All, meaning there is a program out there for everyone. And I'm happy to match you to them. So thank you so much. I will pass it on to Tom.
Okay, Okay, so good morning. Again, my name is John Thigpen, and very happy to be here this morning. Meech mentioned a lot of the incentives at the federal level are definitely under attack, but there's not a reason to necessarily give up hope there. There's quite a bit of incentives and programming at the state and local levels that people can take advantage of and still address energy affordability and equity and things like that. So I'm going to kind of walk through how these couple of squares in this broader patchwork of incentives can help achieve energy cost reductions for folks. So before I get into any of this, can I get a quick show of hands? Who's familiar with the concept of energy burden? Okay, so roughly half. So energy burden essentially is just a function of how much money you spend on energy, per month or per year, relative to your household income. And so when you have an energy burden rate of at 6% or higher, that's considered a high energy burden. And if it's above 10%, then it's considered severe. And those numbers can feel kind of low and kind of disconnected. So I put this table up here to kind of put some perspective around how significant energy burden can be to your livelihood. So if you have a household income of $50,000 and you have a high energy burden, your monthly cost for your energy are $250. That's not a low amount. I mean, for folks that make above that, even that $250 number can feel kind of difficult, tough pill to swallow, right? So for folks that are making, in the higher income brackets, let's use the $200,000 household income as an example. If you're in severe energy burden in that house, you're paying over $1,600 a month in energy, like, you know, I can speak for myself that if I got a bill like that, it would be very difficult to come to terms with. I mean, it would consume my thinking throughout, you know, the day, throughout the whole billing cycle. I'd be on the phone with Duke and Piedmont, trying to understand what the heck's going on here. But imagine having to live with a burden like that at a $50,000 income month after month after month. It is debilitating. And so it's a serious problem. And the programming that I'm going to talk to you about today can help chip away at that and make that less of a burden particularly for low-income households. So Meech mentioned the North Carolina Weatherization Assistance Program. This has been around for a while. You know, it offers things like insulation and energy efficiency upgrades, like light touch type of things, like light bulbs and things of that nature. It also has some safety elements that are part of the programming, like carbon monoxide detection and things of that nature. The stuff in red here, I think, are some of the highlights that I wanted to mention. So whether you own a home or you rent, you are eligible for this weatherization assistance program. There is a income requirement that's described there, but you know, through a large sample size of data, you know, there's an average annual savings of $372 for households that undergo this program. So that can contribute, you know, to a meaningful reduction in your monthly energy expenses. I did include a link to apply for that, but I think the Energy Funds for All is probably a much more elegant and straightforward system, so I would defer to that. One thing I did want to mention about this program is that for several years, they have underspent the funds that they've been allocated from the state. And the reason why is because even though you may be eligible from an income level, there might be more serious issues at your home that need to be fixed first. Because if you've got a hole in your roof, for example, the weatherization program is not going to touch your house because all the investments they would make would basically be wasted and kind of, you know, all the energy efficient conditioned air would escape through this hole. So there are some things that need to be fixed first before the weatherization program can be implemented. And I'm going to talk through a couple of those as well. So keeping it at the state level, North Carolina Housing Finance Agency has some emergency repair programs that people can take advantage of. There's some links here on the page, but that can be one way to address some of the more, you know, significant repair issues that need to be addressed prior to qualifying for the weatherization program. And a lot of folks aren't quite aware of kind of the order of operations that you would need to, you know, follow in order to take advantage of all the state and local programming that's out there. And I'm going to keep it at the state level here. This is a relatively new program, Energy Saver North Carolina, and it's just started to roll out like very recently. But it's a program focused on two specific things. One is energy efficiency in homes, and another is electrification. And for those that might not be familiar with kind of the environmental benefit of electrification, it basically means using electricity as your fuel for heating where you would traditionally use natural gas or propane fuel oil, because electricity has a very natural alternative in terms of clean electricity, whereas, you know, those liquid fuels don't necessarily. And so those are some programs that are, again, for income qualifying households, and they're starting to roll out on a county by county basis. Mecklenburg County doesn't really get on the calendar until January of next year, so you've got a little bit of time to kind of prepare for that. But in the meantime, you know, what's trying to be done at the state level is to build out the list of qualified contractors who can implement this program. And so right now, you know, if you've got friends or family that are in the, you know, the home repair, energy efficiency, you know, HVAC, mechanical businesses, this would be a good time for them to apply for that program and have the opportunity to touch a lot of households with this program. Another approach that Duke Energy has taken in partnership with the city of Charlotte is, again, to kind of address this issue of energy efficiency, energy burden, and home repairs that need to be implemented before those energy efficiency measures can be implemented. And so they have a high energy use pilot program that the North Carolina Utility Commission approved, not too long ago. But essentially what's happening is Duke is contributing funding to address households with high energy use and high energy burden. And the city is contributing money to pay for some of the repairs that need to be implemented at those homes before these energy efficiency measures can be implemented. I mentioned it is a pilot program and it's capped at 500 participants right now. It's open to residents in Charlotte, with Guilford and Forsyth counties, I believe. Yeah. I don't know what the current participant count is, but there's a link here if you are interested in participating or know someone who might be. And there's additional programming just available from the city to address some of the kind of health and safety issues that need to be implemented before energy efficiency measures can be done. So I've listed them here. Again, some links on the website for folks to navigate that, those programs as well. And keeping it with the city, this isn't really a program that has a direct benefit to individual homeowners and renters necessarily. But I think it's kind of more of a community neighborhood level application where it has some complementarity to improving environmental performance, health and safety, and individual homes. And this is the city's Green Prince program, which is in partnership with Clean Air North Carolina and Soul Nation. They're actually giving a kind of a competing talk about this, across the hall right now. But what's really interesting about it is the city has identified 6 neighborhoods in the city of Charlotte that have been historically underinvested. So they are intentionally trying to kind of correct for that with making some specific investments in these neighborhoods. And part of what Green Prince is doing is kind of layering in the development of comprehensive plans that really center environmental performance, energy efficiency, and equity into how these neighborhoods are developed and redeveloped. And one thing I did want to mention, it's a little kind of outside of the state and local programming. One that I wanted to kind of tee up and segue before we get to Stephen is the Duke Energy Power Pair program. And I wanted to bring it up specifically because I am a participant in this program. We just put solar and battery storage on our home back in April. And I want to just highlight some of the performance benefits that we've realized. So in the top right-hand corner there, that's a chart that shows our household energy use, electricity usage year over year. The kind of the hollow green bars is last year's consumption. The filled in green bars are this year's consumption. And then when you see April and May on the far end there, that bar on the far right shows the clean electricity production from the solar at our house. So you can see that we're getting to a point now where we got them installed about mid-April, that we are achieving or close to it, kind of a net zero cost environment with this system. We're not quite there with the production and the storage to get net zero consumption. We got to improve some energy efficiency in order to get there. But from a net zero cost perspective, what's really great about this program is that there's an option to basically give Duke Energy the ability to draw power, stored energy from your battery in times where the grid is kind of strained and they need more electricity in the system, as an alternative to building more generation, essentially. And so by participating in this program and allowing Duke that access, I get a $50 credit per month on my bill. So what I've got in the lower left-hand picture there is a copy of our current bill, which is negative $26 for the month of May. So that bill credit will carry over to June and July when the electricity use is a lot higher because of air conditioning. But over the course of the year, we anticipate being at about a break-even point in terms of electricity spend for the year. And kind of the last piece I'll mention is, there is still, for the time being, the federal investment tax credit for solar. That's a 30% tax credit. And then coupled with that, Duke provides a really nice rebate for the battery. And so that's a picture of the rebate check that I got from Duke for $8,200 a couple of weeks ago. So, you know, you kind of, in theory, can net those out of your first cost for your solar and storage, because it is kind of expensive. But it's kind of a sort of, because the tax credit comes when you file your annual tax returns, and it kind of nets out in your refund. And the rebate check comes, I think, about 6 weeks after permission to operate. So you do have to float a little bit of money in order to kind of get to this point. And I can understand that that's a burden for some, but this is still a really, really useful program, and we've already benefited from it pretty substantially. I think that's my final. Oh, I had some animation there. So yeah, the last thing I'll mention is the city has just launched a solarized campaign. And so basically what this means is that it's a crowdsourcing mechanism that takes advantage of economies of scale by getting a lot of individual homeowners to sign up for this program. And the collective benefit of having a lot of registrants is the unit cost for the solar and the labor and the battery and all that stuff can come down as a result. So, you know, when you're trying to manage and minimize that first cost, this is a way to kind of help bring that down further. So, you know, you got your crowdsourcing and economies of scale pushing down from the top. You got the rebates and incentives coming up from the bottom, and kind of the net effect of that is a pretty elegant program that provides some really strong financial benefits for participants. So.
I'm Stephen Faulkner. One thing we didn't mention was my alma mater. Why I don't have, I'm sorry. So I don't have a dog in the fight on Tobacco Road, but I'd be remiss. I hear my marketing manager or professor in the back of my head. Tell them you're from Radford University, promote Kobe. So Radford University, College of Business and Economics and Marketing. I double major in marketing and business management. So be remiss if I did not mention Radford University, about 2 hours up the road. And I'm a products and services manager here for Duke Energy. They did a wonderful job of teeing up some of the programs we offer at Duke Energy. So Duke Energy, while we do charge you for energy, we also have programs that help you save on energy. So yes, we can save you on your energy bill, and here's how. First, before we go into our programs and what we offer, I think it's important to educate the general customer base and everyone on where is your energy being used the most. So I stole this slide from Advanced Energy. Is actually a company based out of Raleigh in the Duke Triad area that trains us as PMs on, you know, where we as Duke Energy can help you save energy. And you can see clearly that HVAC, heating and air is, regardless of whether you're in a townhome or in your single family detached home, is where the majority of your energy is used. Almost 51% of your energy is through your HVAC system and heating and cooling your home. And your behavioral aspect of that. We'll get into that more. Water heating being next, then lighting. And I would love to know what all bundles up into that other, and I'm sure you can imagine, but that 21% or so is that other field. But again, being a part of Smart Saver, which is a program we offer, we can help you save and offer incentives and rebates to push you to a more energy efficient unit HVAC system. So, and we'll get into that a little bit more. So
it's the
Yeah,
keyboard
that-
on the
that.
laptop. I did that.
thank you.
You can roll that one in there.
I appreciate it. User error over here. So Home Energy Saver, John kind of teed this up. Our Home Energy Saver program kind of targets those burdened customers who are low income, but also are on a high energy burden. So over, 17,800 kilowatt hours or kWh. Think about a gallon in a car. That kWh is what our programs are geared toward driving off the grid. Those are the customers we're targeting. So while it is a pilot program, we have a link for that in the QR. You can stop by the table later, and we can show you how to apply for that program. But what the program offers, everything from insulation to smart thermostats, to replacing appliances, replacing hot water heaters, replacing washer dryers, smart thermostat installation, and so on and so forth, as well as replacing HVAC units for free for these customers. So one way to drive down the burden as part of Power Down the Crown is to partner and help our low income, customers that need it most. So again, this program is eligible and forensic. Probably butchered that county name, Guilford and Mecklenburg County. So we are in Mecklenburg County. If you know of any that wants to participate in the program, please let us know. We can direct them to the QR code and get them going. Let's see. So find it due. So we're starting to get into, here's how you can help today. Any residential customer can enroll into Find It Duke. Find It Duke is a trade ally referral network. So we have a number of vetted contractors, over 249 contractors across 4 states, that we make sure they have proper insurance. We make sure they have proper licensure. We make sure they have liability coverage for workers, and that they are certified in the arena that we need them to be, as well as train them on the rebates that we offer. So if you go to this website, you need an HVAC contractor, you need a plumber for a hot water heater, you need a pool pump, right? We offer rebates for all of those measures, up to $900 off of a pool pump, right? Some of our energy efficient HVAC units, if you're going on a very, very high energy efficient level of unit, up to $3,500 off, right? So 700, 800 is the normal range there, around the 15.2 SEER2 range. But good place to start if you're new to your energy efficiency journey is Find It Duke, because everybody needs home improvement, right? And they're educated on the rebates. They can submit the rebates for you once the home improvement project is complete. So this is the program I support with Duke as well. And from my old team, Direct Offers, Home Energy House Call. This is a free audit program. So this is boots on ground effort from Franklin Energy, our vendor that supports this program. You go to the website, you schedule a Home Energy House Call audit. The auditor will come to your home. They'll do a heat check for any spaces in the home where there's air issues. They'll install free measures, everything from attic insulation to smart thermostats to a hot water turn down to caulking, you name it, all free, valued at about $250 per assessment. Free measures offered to you, the homeowner, and they'll give you a report as to where you can improve the home as well on your own. There's also, I believe they offer smart thermostats with a small copay. I think it's $25 now if you want them to install a smart thermostat while they're there at the home. So again, just some ways that while we're talking macro level, there are some micro things you can do at the home to save energy yourself and help us with this energy burden in our company goal to get to net zero carbon by 2050. Again, just getting into a number of the programs that our customer offerings, our products and services department offers. Go Renewable there is a high entry point for to install a power care system, right? You want to install a solar system at your home, it's going to cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. Well, Go Renewable is a low-cost solution where you can purchase blocks of energy that are 250 kWh, remember mile per gallon per kWh, blocks of energy to make sure that the energy usage you're getting is not coming from the power plant, it's coming from those renewable sources. I believe it's $4 a block of energy there. We can get into that more if you want to stop by the table, but that's a way to keep your entry level point to make sure that your energy is renewable, coming from a renewable source. Solar, wind, I think biomass, but it's $4 per kWh block of energy. Net metering. So if you own your own renewable source of energy, such as a power care program, as John mentioned, this is a way to give energy back to us for a bill credit. So net metering is a way for you to offset your bill if you have that renewable source to help us during times of peak demand where we can, I guess, power into your solar system, right? To use that energy and pull back. in time, so that way we're not into a situation where the grid's strained. Clean energy, emerging renewables. Discover additional energy renewables that let you choose from a level of participation to support clean energy. Again, there's some renewable choices there as long as power pair, purchasing the blocks of energy we discussed, as well as it's kind of a catch-all for our EV charger prep too. So that one website will take you to all those at once. EV charger prep credit. If you want to install a charger at your home, we have a rebate program for that up to $1,100 off for electrical service setup to install that EV charger at your home. There's also a charger solution program that allows you to rent a charger. We talked about home energy house call. Home energy report, I believe most customers are already auto enrolled in. If you ever get a bill from us and a bill insert where it shows your kWh consumption at your home, that's MyHer. That's a home energy report. You can also access and see daily consumption on the Duke Energy app is the source that I like to use most for that. But a very useful tool. Go to the Duke Energy app and you can see how, where you're using energy most often and which day. So, say you forgot to turn off your Google Nest Learning thermostat and it ran all day. You can see that on your application. High energy use assistance, again, for income qualified customers. We talked about that. That's just another name for energy saver. And weatherization as well. Duke has a program for our low income customers that offers that portfolio of measures for free for customers that qualify on an income based level. And as you can see, we've got a number of programs. Smart Saver, we mentioned Smart Saver. Energy Wise Home and Power Manager. We also call it BYOT affectionately internally, or bring your own thermostat. Also demand response. They're all the same program. You essentially get a $75 bill credit up front for enrolling into demand response. And what it does is it allows Duke Energy to, during times of peak demand, control the temperature of your home, right? So we power into your thermostat and we can control, the setting of that temperature to ensure during, again, a way to control during times of peak demand that doesn't overstrain the grid. So it's just a way to meter in. So you get that upfront $75 credit, and I believe it's actually up to $150 now. So that needs to be updated, $150 off, as well as a $25 bill credit at the end of the year. Online savings store. If you're in the market for a smart thermostat now, you can get that smart thermostat for free on online savings store, and it couples with demand response and one easy one-click step to stack those. You get a free thermostat. Once you install it, you're enrolled into the demand response program. And also there's a number of budget billing programs and special billings assistance. If you're ever in need of those, please stop by the table. We can chat more about those programs. And there's also a QR code right here to participate as needed or if needed. I keep clicking on my phone. So another way we can talk on a macro, that closed the whole thing here. Did it go out? That power down. Sorry. All right. So just some low energy, thank you, low to no cost energy savings tips as well. These are something that costs you no money whatsoever, right? Change your air filters regularly, close your blinds if it breaks during the summer energy months, using a ceiling fan in occupied rooms for your air conditioning. Make sure fans are setting and operating in a counterclockwise position to push cool air down during the summer months, or a clockwise position in the winter to make sure the heat is flowing through your home the correct way. Grill outdoors. Obviously, if you're grilling outdoors, you're not using your electrical appliances. Is an easy way to save money. Turning off unnecessarily lights. This is one thing I don't think a lot of people think about, that your lights actually emit heat So it puts a little bit more strain on your air conditioning system as well by leaving the lights on. So not just the light being on is hurting you in an energy efficient way. It's also the heat that is emitting. So anyways, moving on. And since I'm here today, this is my portion of the Smart Saver program we're working to stand up. So Smart Saver multifamily, we target property owners and managers who own multiple facilities or high-rise apartment buildings for everything from heat pump water heaters to air source heat pumps within those homes. So if you have an HOA board, you want to socialize this program to them, we are working specifically in this area to help power down the crowd, right? And get some more energy efficient units for retrofit projects in your home. We can offer up to $125 for thermostat, $350 for duct sealing. And I would love to talk to you more about this program as well if you want to socialize it with your HOA or property managers or landlords. So please stop by our table later on and we'll chat more. And with that, I think I am done. Yes. So any questions, as we mentioned, please stop by. Ad and I as well will be at the table with us to chat. The picture, there's a tie in there. If you want to hear more about the program that he did with the lighting at the Panther Stadium, he would love to chat to you more about that. All the LED lights in that stadium, he was a part of that program. He was working with Duke Energy to make sure that the stadium is energy efficient as well. With that, I'm done. Namas. We'll start a panel discussion. Thank you.
That's awesome. Great to hear from the very macro level, everything from federal incentives to state and city to what our local utility is doing to help us. And I just have a couple of personal anecdotes that I want to share that are super related to what you just presented, especially.
Good.
But home energy house call audit. My husband and I have taken part in that for the last 2 homes we've had, and it really was helpful. One of the things that was pointed out, of course, in my current home, which was built in 1941, lots of gaps, right? They come out with the infrared camera to show you where your insulation is poorly performing. And we can have the most efficient HVAC in our home, but if our insulation has gaps or, 1941 house, when they maybe didn't put any insulation in, that energy and that money is going right out the door. So the envelope of the home is so important. And so we have had the opportunity to take advantage of that. It's really beneficial. They can point out other savings opportunities in the home. One other really unique low cost way to save energy that we discovered, we have a gas fireplace that we're not using. There's a balloon that you blow up. It's meant for fireplaces that it just allows you to keep the drafts out in the winter and keep your air conditioning in the summer. Very simple product you can get on Amazon. They didn't even try to sell me one. It was just go to Amazon, you can get a really good price one. Another thing I wanted to point out on 2 of the slides here, the heat pump water heater. First, going back to the original slide that we were sharing that showed the energy costs in your home, and of course, heating and cooling is your highest cost of water heating. Are you surprised at how much we spend on our bills on water heating? I was, and in my last life at Crescent Communities, we did an audit on our multifamily communities, and that was the biggest way that we could make an impact on energy efficiency for our multifamily communities was addressing the water heater. So I was really excited about heat pump water heaters. They were so efficient, super efficient. We had one installed, and I know Duke offers that $500 rebate. I waited too long because you need to do it within like 60 days of the purchase.
Yeah.
And I went to apply for my tax savings. Let's talk about the layering.
Yes.
Federal tax incentive that I did take advantage of for that. I could have also got another $500 from Duke had I done it in time. Someone over there, I didn't tell them. I'm relying on all of you to protect me. Colors. So I have a lot of questions, but this is more about, I can talk to these people, I know. What questions do you have in the audience for our wonderful panelists?